This is Radio TV Phono Nut, and if things look and sound a little bit different than what you're accustomed to, it's because we have a new, to me, digital camera, thanks to a very generous viewer of this channel who sent me one. You know who you are, and thank you very much for that. It's very much appreciated, and it will certainly be put to good use. I hear my helper in the background agreeing with me there. But anyway, the purpose of this video is mainly just a test to upload something with a new camera to YouTube and see what it looks like and see what you guys think about it. I'm still kind of getting the hang of this camera. You know, like any other time we get something new, we have to get familiar with it, and I'm still doing that with this, but this camera is working great. And I can tell you one thing that I like about it already is the fact that the memory card is much bigger than what was in the old camera. I'm not having to constantly go up every few minutes and dump the memory card in the camera. I think this one will hold something like 47 minutes worth of video, so that comes in handy. Now the disadvantage for you guys is my videos might get longer now since I don't have to go up and dump the memory card as often. But anyway, even though the camera's working great, I'm running into some problems with my computer, and I think it's probably about time to get a new computer. My computer was bought when Windows 7 first came out, whenever that was. The hard drive has already gone out in it once. The CD burner doesn't work. It's very glitchy. It likes to throw up error messages when it shouldn't be throwing up error messages, so I think I'm just going to have to break down and get another computer, whether I want to or not. I mean, you know how I am. I don't like to just replace something unless I have to, but I think it's gotten to the point where I have to. But on that subject, just to give you a little background, back when YouTube dumped their video editing program, I installed Windows Movie Maker on my computer, and for whatever reason it wouldn't start. Claimed something was missing from my computer. Well, one thing I've learned about Microsoft is they're real quick to throw up error messages telling you what's wrong, but they don't give you a convenient link to install whatever it is they claim is missing. In fact, I think their software engineers lay awake at night thinking of things to put in their programs to make life difficult for people, especially when it comes to compatibility issues. You know, they don't want things to be compatible. They want you to buy a whole new piece of software. Well, someone recommended an older version of Movie Maker that I installed, and it worked great with the old camera, but for some reason it doesn't like the files from this new camera. It gives me an error message and says the proper codec isn't installed on my computer. Well, how am I supposed to know what the proper codec is? I'm not savvy when it comes to that kind of thing. Once again, if something's missing, tell me what's missing, tell me where to get it, and I'll get it fixed. But like I said, Microsoft is really not too adept at that. So once that didn't work out, I got online and tried to find some movie editing software that I could use, and it amazes me how many of these programs claim free download. Well, that makes it sound like the program's free. Well, it's really not. That means you can download the program for free, and then whenever you try to use it, at some point they're going to want you to buy the program. And I'm sorry, I'm not buying something when I don't know yet that it's going to be compatible with my needs. So where we are right now is we're going to have to come up with a video editing program. If anybody has any suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. I also tried downloading the Canon software for this camera, and once again, when I tried to run it on my computer, it claimed something was missing. And then whenever I tried to download whatever it was is missing, apparently that's not even available from Microsoft anymore. So at that point I just threw up my hands. I'd already done a good bit of cussing by that point, so I didn't need to cuss anymore, so I just walked away from it. But our options at this point are to find a movie editor, or it's going to be Meteor Radio Repair Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part whatever, 350 something, and I don't think that'll be very practical. And speaking of Meteor, this radio before you is a Sears Meteor brand from about 1939. That was their cheaper brand of electronics that they used from the 30s through the 50s, and it's not a very often seen brand. Now if you look on this radio, you'll notice there's no tuning control whatsoever. This radio is strictly tuned by these station preset buttons here. It's a 4-tube TRF set made by Air King, and when you pull this little wooden panel off, you'll see 2 trimmers for each button, and you simply adjust the button for the station you want, and it's supposed to be a set and forget thing. Although this radio is not a set and forget thing, you adjust it. In a few hours, a day, a week later, you turn it on and it's drifted, and you have to go back and reset everything. Now, I've already replaced all the capacitors and the resistors and resoldered all the bad connections and did this and that and whatever else obviously needed to be done. So we're going to have to find out why this radio is drifting. Now on that note, I had a whole slew of bits and pieces of videos from the old camera of projects that I never completed, and this was one of them. Well, last night I got on a tear and was trying to clean out my hard drive, which the replacement is not nearly as big as the one that came with the computer, so it was filling up fast. So I went through, and all of those bits and pieces of video from that old camera that looked like crap, they got deleted. When we decide to revisit those projects, I'll briefly bring you up to speed on what was done to them, and then we'll go from there. The only video I have from that old camera is a completed video of a radio that you'll see soon, and I have a partial video that I made of a gift that Shango 066 sent me that I'm also very thankful for. I won't tell you what it is just yet, but part of that video is in standard definition, and that's actually what I was working on when the old camera died. So when we get the video editing thing straightened out, the first part of that video will be with the old camera, and the second part will be with the new camera. And if that doesn't work very well, we may just have to do a two-parter. Do the first part with the footage from the old camera, and the second part with the new camera here. But yeah, I'm thinking seriously about looking into a new computer, one that's not so glitchy and one that's not such a pain in the butt. Of course, I know a brand new one could be a pain in the butt too, but I really think it's time for an upgrade, and I'll just hang on to the old computer for backup or whatever. One of these days there's going to be a Part 15 station here, and I may use that old computer is just a play out system to load a bunch of stuff up on it and play that out over an AM transmitter, so we can have some decent content over these old radios. I won't be stuck with the usual dreck that's on the radio around here. So there you go, that's about all I've got for now. There's I guess my dog, I guess he sees Bill Gates spying on me and talking about him over here, so he's running him off. But anyway, I just wanted to upload this brief video that didn't require any editing, just upload it to the computer and then download it to YouTube or whatever, I don't know. Whatever the correct terminology is. You won't believe, whenever I was in community college, I wanted to get in the electronics program, and the all-knowing, all-powerful counselors didn't want me to do that. Oh, your vision's not good enough for that. You need to get in the computer technology program. Well, I reluctantly went along with their game plan for a couple of years, and the computer technology program just wasn't for me. I mean, yeah, I learned some things in there, but computers, I have no patience with them. They're not my thing. I'll take an old radio and work on it from now until the end of time, until I get it working, but when a computer starts getting on my nerves, I lose my patience. But anyway, after a couple of years through the computer program at the college that was getting me nowhere because I didn't really want to be there in the first place, I took some time off from college. And then whenever I went back, I very bluntly told the counselor, I'm back, I'm willing to re-enroll, but I'm going to get in the program that I want to get into, and if you're not willing to enroll me in that program, then I'll show myself out. So she finally told me, well, you go talk to the instructor, and if he okays it, we'll sign you up. Well, the instructor was an older German guy that had been teaching there since 1967. This was in '99. So I went and talked to him and told him my situation, and he said, sure, I'd love to have you in my class. So the counselors reluctantly signed me up. I went through the 2-year electronics program and did wonderfully in it. The only thing I'm upset about is my instructor. He retired after the first year, but he'd been there 33 years at that point, so I guess it was time for him to go. But you know, I think these counselors need to learn, you know, don't try to discourage somebody from going in a direction of study. If that's what they want to do, let them do it. And if they find out on their own that that's not for them, then at least they tried. They found out for themselves. They didn't go by what some school counselor that thinks they know it all told them. Of course, personally, I think these school counselors do all that for another reason too, to keep you enrolled longer and get more money for the college. But I won't get off on too far off on rant mode today. But anyway, just to sum it up, once we get our video editing thing straightened out, we will do another video on this radio that you see, and I'll bring you up to speed on everything that was done, and we'll try to get the drifting problem straightened out. But right now, the biggest thing on my plate is to try to get something straightened out as far as the video editing. Now, in case I forgot to mention it, another problem with my computer is a lot of that crap that I downloaded last night. Now it won't even let me delete it. You go to uninstall the program and it won't let me do it. So I went directly to the hard drive itself and tried to uninstall some of it directly from there, and some of it let me uninstall that way, and some of it kept popping up and saying, this file is in use by another program. Please close the file and start again. And I even sometimes get the same error message whenever I'm trying to delete old video files or pictures or whatever. So it's stuff like that is just why I'm ready to make a new start with a computer. Thank goodness they don't cost thousands of dollars anymore. And hopefully I'll have a little time with a new computer before it starts doing stupid crap like that. So that's where we are. So anyway, let me know what you think of this, and if you have any suggestions for a video editing program that I can use to put these YouTube videos together, then I'd love to hear from you. Alright, with that said, getting off of here. More to come later.